About who are you, Miss Hazel? Hold on.
Kimberly Lawrence. Did you hear me?
Hello, is this Paula Wallace? Yes, hold on 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. Anita?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
sorry, Paul came in. How'd you hear about us?
Kimberly Lawrence.
Okay, all right. Well, welcome. And where are you
Oh,
from? And what's your background?
I am from the state of Georgia. I am in Stonecrest, Georgia. Background 30 years with the federal government. Right now, I am doing appeals for multiple health insurances through Advanced Diabetes Supply, also known as North Coast Medical, out of Carlsbad, California. I have been working from home since the year of 2007.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. All right. Well, welcome. Welcome.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Uh, are you still in California? Because I know this is
No,
early.
no, no,
Oh, you're here in
no,
Georgia.
no, no, no. I work in California,
Oh, okay.
via working from home. The contract I have with them is in California. I work on California time, Monday through Friday. I don't do Saturdays and Sundays for anyone. Sunday is my time with the Lord. Saturday is my time for me.
All right. I love
Yes.
it. Thank you and welcome. Mr. Mr. Summers, please introduce yourself and tell me a little bit about. Yes, I see you. Good morning. I
Good
can't hear
morning.
you. Yes, now I can hear you. I think I can hear you. You're muted.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, but I was trying to talk to Mr. Summers, but I can't hear him. And I'm just, as people are coming in, I'm just having everyone to introduce themselves and give a little background on how'd you hear about us and where you located. It's all about a community. And look like Mr. King, you ready to go play golf somewhere.
Yeah, I have to go play at 11 as soon as I get off this call, actually.
Okay. I want you to introduce yourself to the rest of the audience.
Oh, yes. I'm Ray King Jr. I heard about your course through my father and my sister, Ray King Sr. They went through your course and they did get a contract out of a military base, I believe, in Idaho or somewhere far. But he's praised you. And I've been in REO world many years ago, and I know Stacy. Um, and my dad was telling me the success Stacy's had, and he was just praising everything you guys did. And he knows my track for wanting to get into federal government contracting because I'm currently in city government contracting, and I wanted to expand it and have always wanted to expand it, but I guess I've been scared of all the paperwork and red tape. And I got a taste of it with the city contracts, and I'm like, oh gosh. But it's time to go to that level. I have all the capabilities and experience to do it, so I should be doing it, applying myself to do it. And we're
Okay.
in Dallas, Texas. Dallas, Texas.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Mr. Summers, did you get your audio? I don't think you did. All right. Yeah, we can't hear you. Hopefully you can hear us. So something's going on with your audio. Coach V, please introduce yourself. Welcome. Coach V,
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
I'm great. Please introduce yourself. Give
Um,
us a little of your background and where you're located. And how'd you hear about us?
my name is Vashawn Hargrove, and I'm in the Maryland area. Um, I heard about you. I saw an interview that you did with one of your star students, Miss Breezy. So I remember that interview, but I didn't really take to it until I started doing some research in the contracting world. And then I saw the contract she had been awarded. So I went back and took a look at it, and I actually reached out to her, and she was kind enough to, advise me to seek you out and see what this course was about. So that's how I got here. And then watched a couple of the other videos and pretty impressed with those. So, in this space, you get kind of leery about what to do and who to follow. So I kind of been in that research phase, and I'm ready to end that.
All right, let's get into it. Dr. Irby, please introduce yourself.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Doris Irby. I live in Duluth, Georgia, about 20 minutes north of, or 25 minutes north of Atlanta. I served 7.5 years in the military before going to nonprofit, where I have over 19 years in serving in the nonprofit space. I'm the owner of Thriving Partners, LLC, which is a consulting firm. Just opened my business last year. I left corporate to go out, venture out on my own. And I was actually referred to Paula by a good friend or a colleague. And I'm very interested in the government space. And so that's why I'm here working with the very best to help prepare me to work within this space. And it's very nice to meet everybody here today.
Thank you. And she's already signed up for the April 10th class. Ms. Keish and Mr. Zimmerman. And then I'm going to go ahead and jump in this because I have a lot to cover. Ms. Keish, can you unmute? And Mr. Zimmerman?
Yeah, I can go if you want me to.
Yes, please.
Mr. Zimmerman, yeah. Hi, my name is Maury Zimmerman. I'm a principal at the architectural firm of the OZ Collaborative. I about 3 years ago partnered with one of my good friends who's from Colombia, South America, and we've been working together now for, even though we merged 4 years ago, we've been working together for about 6 years. My interest in the 8A, and I think that's what the question was, or in this government space, is I'm about to retire, so I'm hoping that I can strengthen the firm that we're creating right now for his legacy. So that's our goal and intent right now.
Okay, well, welcome. How'd you hear about us again?
Through the PEC, the People's Emergency Center.
Okay, I don't even know who the People Emergency Center is, but we're going to give them a shout out.
Yeah, again, Paula, I'll send you something back if that's incorrect, but I was just assigned this because Rich Elia couldn't do this. So we'll start another conversation later. Yeah.
Okay, well, before we get started, I'm doing something new. Just because I want people to understand whose shoulders we stand on. Can you all see this? Can somebody read that?
From sharecropper to shareholders.
We stand on big shoulders. So this has always been my inspiration and making sure we get in the game and understand how to play in the game successfully. So welcome, everyone. I'm going to cut off my camera so I don't distract myself and jump right into this presentation. Thank you all for taking your Saturday morning to join me. And I have a whole lot of information I want to impart on you this morning. So we're going to act like we're in church this morning. All right. So you get to shout and give me an amen. Let me know I'm right on point as I go through this information. Again, we are GPI, your procurement solutions for small businesses. I will say right now, this is a key and critical time for us to get into the game. Right now, the president had issued an executive order. He did that in 2022, requiring that these agencies increase new entrants and underserved businesses. And he did it through this executive order. And this report came out a month or so ago. So he's telling you how much has been awarded to small disadvantaged businesses. And their goal is to increase the contract award by 2025 to at least 15%. I like to always start out with my story for those of you who have not heard it. And for those of you who have, please just work with me. Originally, I'm from Asheville, North Carolina. After college, I went to Washington, D.C., and my first job was with a company that was a part of the 8A program. I'll talk a little bit more depth about that program shortly as we go through the presentation. But I started as an event planner, and I ended up attaching myself to a contract where I went through 6 different 8A companies before I started my own. But as I was going through those 6 companies and doing event planning for those agencies, I started to listen and participate inside those meetings and really begin to understand how this money really flows. And then when I became a project manager and understood how they was paying me, I decided to take the faithful leap and start my first business in 1996. First year in business, I received my first $1 million contract. Second year, I applied into the 8A program, continued to grow the business to close to $15 million in contracts in a short period of time. Had 2 business partners and really, and almost 40 employees. And that's really where the trouble began, because I went from a project manager to running a multi-million-dollar company, and I didn't have a clue what I was doing. One of the partners felt like he could run all his personal expenses through the business. And the last straw for me was a $3,000 custom-made pinstripe suit with his initials going down the pinstripe. I ended up having my assistant to do an audit on his credit card. He takes her in the elevator and threatens her. I then terminate him. He then conspires with 2 employees to sue me and the other partner for sexual harassment. After 2 years of attorney fees, $125,000 in attorney fees, $100,000 to buy him out, I had no more operating cash. So for those of you who are looking to get into this space, and for those of you who may currently have an entity with employees, I encourage you to obtain employment practice liability insurance. That's insurance that's outside of the general policy. Had I had that insurance, that would have covered the settlement and the attorney fees. Very important. Based on having to close the business, that really pushed me to my passion. Meaning, I didn't want no other small business to go through what I went through. So I volunteered as a score counselor for 2 years, ran out of money, and then applied for a position with SBA. I was hired in the Philadelphia office, which is the office that actually processes all of the 8A applications. My job there was to service the businesses once they got into the program. After 4 years there, I relocated here to Atlanta in 2012. And while I was here, they required us to become certified as contract specialists. And for me, that was the missing piece, meaning I'd run a business for 10 years. I had worked at SBA for 7 years and understand their programs, but I wasn't quite sure how these agencies actually put these solicitations together for you to compete on. So by becoming certified, that helped me to have a complete picture and help small businesses entering into this space. We've trained more than 10,000 businesses on how to market to the federal government and have assisted small businesses to win over 1 billion in contracts across various industries. I'm proud of it, actually 1.5, because a lot of people have become millionaires through this process. I've also self-published a book based on that first business experience. The names have been changed to protect the innocent, and it was called That's Crazy, Recognize Crazy and Run. So the challenges that I have found with small businesses entering into this space is that they would come to SBA, we would host the webinars, and everyone would leave excited and understanding it was great information. But after they left, they weren't quite sure how to connect the dots. And it's the same thing with these federal agencies. No one understood SBA. Part of our goals at SBA was we had to go train these agencies on how to use and leverage SBA's programs. So for me, I will consistently say, unless you worked on the inside of SBA, no one understands them or how they operate. What are some of the challenges when attempting to enter into this space? On the other side, they are assuming that you understand their language, you understand their acronym. No one understands their processes. Once you determine what certifications you qualify for, well, what documents will SBA be looking for? And understanding no one talks to each other. Everyone is siloed. GSA manages SAM.gov, and we'll talk about that database, but they're not talking to SBA's database. It's really a disconnect, which makes it challenging for businesses to enter into this space. So based on that, I created this program based on my lessons learned. And in that first business, the first lesson I learned was not to limit my business. When I won that first $1 million contract, and I started marketing that business as an event planning company, my mentor pulled me aside and asked me, why was I pigeonholing myself? And when he said that, it made sense. And when I look back at the companies that I'd gone through and their business model, I changed my business model. I became a management consulting firm, and I created divisions. I had an event planning division, I had an IT division, I had a training division, communications. And once I created those divisions, I started winning contracts in that space. So what we train you in our first module is not to build your business on your skill set. And having worked with SBA's resource partners many years, they'll tell you, start on your skill set, start locally, go after state contracts because you're not ready for the federal government. And that's nowhere near the case. So the whole thing in the first module is helping you to shift your mindset, helping you to understand your job as the CEO is to manage the business. And if you're working in your business, you cannot grow your business. Second is understanding collaboration is key in this space. All of SBA's programs, all of these contracts require that you collaborate. When I look at the number of people that are currently online this morning, I look at this as a contract. You get a piece, I get a piece. And eventually we get pieces of the pie, it becomes whole. So we have to learn how to work together. So in the second module of our program, we put you into teams, and we're the government, and you have to deliver items and have real practical exercises in completing your deliverables. Third, you must have the infrastructure. What do I mean by infrastructure, anyone? Anybody? What do I mean by infrastructure? Nobody can tell me?
You have to have the back offices set up, contract templates and things of that nature.
You heard I got sued. Accountants, attorneys, make sure you understand how to protect yourself. That was my dilemma. I left myself wide open and not understanding that those employees really wasn't my friend, but we tend to go in and start small and make these people your friend, but they're not your friends. So when you look at the federal government, can someone tell me when the fiscal year starts and ends? Anyone?
October 1st.
October 1st to September 30th.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hazel.
You're welcome.
And why is that important to you? It's important to you because what happens between October, February, I would say March, these agencies operate on a continuing resolution until Congress approves the budget. And the continuing resolution means they have limited money. So, Ms. Hazel, you said you've been on the government side, and I've been on the government side. You know, during that time, we're just twirling our thumbs because we really can't do but so much. Am I correct?
That is correct.
So by the time you get your money, the agency get their money, I would say, like now, they just passed the budget, the full budget, last month. Most of the agencies are now beginning to get their money. So really, I would say by May to September, they're trying to spend all of their money.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not trying to talk to you. I'm very strategic. We used to call this Christmas season when it began in this time because you're just throwing out a fishnet to win opportunities. Why federal contracts? Because every year SBA set goals for these agencies, and they're just goals. It's not the law, but SBA monitors them and publishes a scorecard so that you could see who's faring and who's not, and a way to embarrass these agencies. So what happens at the beginning of each fiscal year, these goals include 23% are set aside for small businesses, 5% for women-owned, 5% for small disadvantaged businesses, 3% for service disabled, and 3% for hub zone businesses. And so what that means for you, the more certifications you have, the more you helping that agency achieve their goals. As an example, if that agency awards you a contract for $100,000, that agency now gets credit for $100,000 toward their goals. And let's say you're a small business and woman-owned. So now that agency gets $200,000 credit towards their goal. And then over here, you can see the scorecards as it relates to the overall agencies and meeting their goals. But SBA separates them by agency. So you can go in and look at which agency did not meet their goals. And for me, it has to be part of a strategy. Maybe you'll target those agencies that did not meet their women goal if you're a woman owned small business. But more importantly, you can see here the goals that they chosen. Previously, this number used to be 5%. As you can see now, that the president has increased that goal to 11%. And I want you to pay close attention. That was $69 billion that went into this program. But you can see the dollars that went to just small business. There's a lot of money out here, and it's time to get into the game. I'm going to focus on this program because this is a program that's to my heart. I wanted to give you a general idea of the types of, the agencies that were awarded contracts into this program in the last fiscal year. I also wanted to demonstrate to you the contracts that were awarded into this program. And our goal is to teach you how to create a business model based on where the money is flowing. That makes sense to me. We're going to follow the money. This report I pulled because I like to keep up with my competitor. I feel like SBA is my competitor. When I left SBA, I was like, I'm going to leave SBA and revolutionize you all because you don't know what you're really doing. And this report that was issued by the Office of Inspector General tells a story. It tells a story to me. Right now, as of 2021, and these numbers really have not increased that much, 8A participants in this program, but it's also showing you the amount of dollars that was awarded to these businesses in this program. And 11 billion were in sole source awards, and we'll discuss what that really means shortly. So for me, when I left the DMV area and I went to Pennsylvania, and then I moved here to Georgia, what I realized was nobody outside of that DMV area had a clue about government contracts. Right now, this number is about 200, and they still have the same number of specialists assigned to support you, but look at the caseload. So I knew that on the inside. What I found was the average 8A did not receive their first contract until their fourth or fifth year. And out of the 40 businesses I was servicing, only 4 or 5 was truly winning. And that was one of the reasons that pushed me to come out to make an impact into my community. So when you look at this chart here, does this tell a story to anyone? And what story do you see? Anybody? It doesn't.
The caseload is extremely high for the number assigned specialists, meaning that if I'm seeing this correctly, your award is going to take longer because the manpower is not there.
There you go. That's a big issue. But I wanted you to more so focus on the contract awards. Over here, I pulled this data out of this database, which we'll view. I wanted you to get an idea. I wanted to see the numbers. The data tells a story.
Well,
So what does this data tell?
The DC is 41%, and if you're in Georgia, it's only 3%. The pie is not evenly cut.
Correct. So that means 3% of these 172 firms are winning contracts, or 200. as an issue. And I refuse to believe that we don't have more than 200 businesses in the state of Georgia that can qualify into this program. When I was in Pennsylvania, it was only 68 businesses. When I looked at New York numbers, it's only 82 businesses in the 8A program. It's a problem, someone. It's a problem. And what I found here is that businesses come from the DC area and win contracts. There's 1,700 businesses in this program. They have no competition. And what do they have here? CDC and 5 military bases. We've got to get into this game. This is the game changer and how we change our generational wealth.
Is that because their offices are there in those locations and people can readily meet them face to face and have more of a personal connection with them?
What you mean? What was the question?
DC, Georgia, pretty much the East Coast, Virginia, because the offices are there. You have a lot of military bases, federal agencies there that you can actually meet the people there, and they're making a lot more connections that way and getting a lot more awards that way.
Every state has a some type of federal agency in that state. In the state, you look at courthouses, wherever there's military bases, and where there's a military base, there's going to be a contract. So what I tell businesses from the military, in Georgia, I looked at the numbers in Alabama. Go next door. No competition, although those firms there are doing quite well in getting a bulk of the money. But again, you can't tell me there's no more than 58 Black-owned businesses in the state of Alabama that can qualify into this program. In Florida, my Latino brothers and sisters, they understand it a whole lot better than we do. And they understand how to work together. We have got to come together and learn how to team. So this PowerPoint is the database where opportunities are posted. And so why I say, for me, it makes better sense that you start on the federal side and then come down to the state and local, because you have less competition on the federal side. And this number was pulled this last month, but as we get closer to now, I don't even know what the numbers is, but as we get closer to September or June and July, these numbers will increase. And what I found consistently, these agencies do not have enough small businesses submitting response. The competition is less. I can be in California. I can be here in Georgia and win a contract in California. I do not have to pigeonhole myself to that area. And then when you're dealing with local and state, a lot of times you're dealing with politics. But again, that's still your tax dollars, and I still want it. But I want you to start at the top and then come down and get their money. As an example, this is a total small business set aside. This is an opportunity that was out late last year to provide for the retail shop at the Library of Congress. You're going to see that it is a total small business set aside. And this is this opportunity. Do I need to be in the retail business to compete on this opportunity, someone?
No.
No.
That's all they're looking for, right? They give you instructions. So how would you go about competing on this particular opportunity, someone? Think out of the box.
would you find a business that that may, you know, that you can award a subcontract to that specialize in this area?
Correct, but you got to make sure they're able to get the volume. So so my idea, I probably would approach somebody in the retail industries, right? Or some type of competitor.
I would find someone that's in the promotional products industry because
Correct.
they sell bags.
Correct. There you
So
go.
you would go to someone who is either a wholesaler or a distributor.
There you go. There you go. And
That
then
would be me.
right? And then you put your money on top of it, right?
I'm going right now.
And then right here, they give you instructions. The government is very clear. And that's the beauty of the government. Once you understand the process, they're very uniform. And that's what we teach and train in the program. And then they're telling you what they're looking for, and then they're going to tell you how they're going to evaluate you. So when you look at this second paragraph, what are they saying? Someone. So does this knock you out if you don't have any experience? Anybody?
No, it doesn't knock you out if you can work with someone who can be the prime and you can be the sub.
Or again, I can just demonstrate. I have any real estate agents over here online.
Yes, broker.
You hold open houses. You
Yes,
host
we'd hold open
events.
houses.
You host events. So you can
Yes.
potentially leverage that event planning experience and working with getting these types of promotional materials for those open houses. So it's all how you're shaping the story. Just wanted to give you a general idea. The other thing I need to update this too. You can scan this. The government, every agency will issue what they call a forecast at the beginning of the fiscal year, outlining what they are forecasting for that fiscal year. And I like HUD because HUD updates their forecast every month, and it's current. So what this does is allow you to get in front of that opportunity because it's going to outline the type of contract. It's going to talk about the industry it is. It's going to give you the total small business set aside. It's going to give you a contact. Every business is based on relationships. So this is how you begin to build that relationship. It's telling you when they anticipate it coming out and when they anticipate it being awarded and how long that contract will be. So this is how you play before without any other certifications. I like new contracts because I know I don't have anyone I'm competing with. Whereas a recompete, there's a current contractor, and that's really who I'm competing with. So when I look at this contract, to get ahead of the game, I can contact Miss Lawrence Wilson and ask her how many retirement plaques are you anticipating you'll need for this opportunity. That way, it gives me enough time to do my research and get a couple of vendor quotes. So when it does come out in June, all I'm doing is putting in the numbers. Does that make sense to everyone? And you know the ballpark that you need to stay within. Are y'all still with me? Any questions?
I'm still with you.
Okay. To get in this game, you have to start with this database. You can self-certify as a small business, and we called it such a mess, because it's still a relatively new database. When they launched it in 2012. It's 10 years, but it still has a whole lot of bugs in it, and they're still messing with this database. You can self-certify as a small business, and you can self-certify as a small disadvantaged business. Although a lot of agencies will use this program to meet their goals to qualify, with the SDB, meaning once you apply into this program, you're automatically a SDB. Although, again, you can still self-certify for this program. These are the 4 programs that require formal certifications, meaning you have to submit an application to SBA and you have to be approved by SBA. The 8A program is a business development program. The Hub Zone program is designed to build communities, and women-owned and service-owned or disabled veteran-owned is just what it is. So the 8A program, again, this is a program to my heart because I know this is a program that allows generational wealth to be created. This is the only program that I know of that is going to build your business for 9 years. And the way they're building it is allowing you to have up to $4 million contract awards that are called sole source that are no competition. Can I get an amen from the church? Or maybe the church didn't hear me.
Hallelujah. Praise the
Amen.
Lord above.
No
Amen.
competition.
No competition.
That's how I grew that first business. I was getting sole source contracts left and right, but I didn't know what I was doing with them. To qualify into this program, you have to, it's on 2 components. You're socially and economically disadvantaged. The Hub Zone program, again, is based on where your business is located and 35% of your employees where they reside in the Hub Zone. For the 8A program, before the lawsuit last year, this was the qualifications you had to meet on the social component of the program. Since the lawsuit, this is the requirements. They're now requiring that you write a narrative describing how you've been discriminated as a Black person in America. It's silly. We get around there. Again, on my team, I have a lot of the retired SBA employees that work there, and they know the language that SBA will be looking for. The other component of it is your economic net worth. It cannot exceed $850,000 minus any equity in your home and any equity in your business. If you have any rental properties, that will be counted against you. If you're in the real estate industry for this program, you cannot have your primary industry code under that real estate code. I'm recommending that you all put it under the 541611 industry code. If someone could put that in the chat, that's the administrative and management code. Any questions around the basic requirements? Someone? Everyone clear? Okay. The other component to this.
Will you be removed? Will you be removed as soon as you hit 850,000? Even if you haven't expired your 8A? On 8A, if it's 850,000 during your contract, I don't know how long is 8A? 9 years?
It is 9 years.
If you exceed that 850,000 within the 9 years, let's say in the second year, will you still be in 8A, or they remove you from the program early?
I can graduate you.
They'll get you out. You'll get out of there earlier.
Yeah, that means the program works.
Okay.
But what I tell businesses, I'm getting an echo from you, Mr. King. What I tell businesses is while you're in that program, keep the money in the business. I graduated but she retired from the government, 30 years at HUD. When she got into her first year in business, she made 65,000. Second year, she applied into the program. She had about 80,000 revenue. Third year, she created a joint venture and ran won a $200 million joint venture. A contract under that joint venture. When she submitted her information, because you have to update your information every year, she'd given herself a $3 million bonus. I said, I told the owner, I said, I'm not going to graduate you this year, but you can't give yourself $3 million bonus. Next year, she gave herself $4 million. She was gone. But again, the program worked if she's able to give herself that much in bonus. The other part of this, I like to always say around this Just Us system. This is another way for those in our community that have touched this system and able to create another pathway for them to support their families. If you have a record, but you have not been on probation or parole, you're not on probation or parole, you can apply into this program and based on, again, the crime, and get into the game. This is the way we help those who have touched that injustice system. The HubZone program, it applies to purchases over 3,000. There's no term limits with this program. You recertify every year. You also have the opportunity to have competitive and sole source contracting in this program as well. The difference with this program and the 8A program, in order for the government to award a contract under this program, the women's program and the veterans program, as a sole source, they have to operate on what they call the rule of two, meaning they have to determine that there are two businesses that have responded to this opportunity are qualified to perform on this contract. If they have two, they can sole source that contract to one of the two. And that's called the rule of two. Does that make sense to everyone? Your principal office must be in a hub zone and 35% of your employees must live in a hub zone. So it doesn't have to be the same place as that office. I had one client, that was in my portfolio. He was an 8A firm. He had a corporate office up in Cobb County, one of the high-end office building, but he had a hub zone office in Columbus, Georgia. And he qualified for that office because he had a contract from that military base, and that's where most of his employees reported to. So it doesn't necessarily have to be your corporate office. You cannot have a P.O. box address. It has to be a live office. So if you're trying to determine if you're in a hub zone, this is the hub zone map. If you put your address in it, it's going to come up and tell you whether or not it's qualified. I'm here in Georgia. In the Georgia district office at SBA is downtown on Peachtree. Right beside us is the Marriott, the Hyatt Regency, Ritz-Carlton, but that address is a hub zone. It's a hub zone because there's a shelter, or used to be a shelter, around the corner. So this whole program is based on the Census Bureau. The women's program, it's broken into two components. And I was at an event earlier in the week, and I'm so glad somebody has figured this out. They're now going to combine all of these programs into one database. Currently, if you're applying to the women's data program, you have to go through this database and upload primarily a lot of the same information that you're uploading in the 8A program. They said they are now making it one database where you only have to upload that material one time. And that was my issue on the inside is I kept having to upload put the same information into 3 or 4 different databases. That made no sense to me. This program is broken into 2 components. Economically disadvantaged, once you're applied into that program, then you're automatically a WOSB. The economically disadvantaged program is just like the 8A program. They're going to ask, it's all based on your net worth. This program is still relatively new. They just started formally authorizing this program, accepting applications in 2020. They currently, as I heard at the conference, have a 1-year backlog into this program. They do have a third-party certifier, but I recommend that you do it yourself. And that's what we show you as part of the training in our program. Because I want you to have total control of your information and documentation that you're giving them to upload in the same database. Doesn't make sense. To qualify into this program, no minimum amount of time. You work, they do say work full time, doing normal working in hours, but based on the industries, there's ways to get around this. All these programs require 51% ownership. For the 8A program, this is the game that we'll play. And I have one of my proteges who has followed my blueprint perfectly. I told her, you're going to get 18 years in the program. Bring your son into the program. He is a service disabled veteran. And 3 years ago, he got out of the military, 26, he's 29. She's been subcontracting to him for the last 3 years. She's getting ready to graduate from the program. Now he's in a position to apply for the program. And now we got another 9 years. And not only that, she now has her 23-year-old daughter going through the program. Do y'all hear the game that I'm playing here, y'all? Anybody hear that? Did the church hear that?
Yes, Lord. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I don't know if the rest of the church heard what I was saying. Did y'all get what I was saying? The game that we're going to play.
Yes, ma'am.
Huh? Everybody else, Miss Hazel got it. Everybody else sleep?
I'm in the amen corner. This is interesting.
So you got 18 years why this program at least is here. We just keep it going. That's how we build these generational wealth. That's why you have the most wealth of Black business owners in that DMV area. They just keep spending it all. They understand the game. Huh?
So in essence of, I don't want to do the echo, but in essence of 9 years, you would coming to 18 years by bringing someone else in. But we also look at it as whoever gets to 850 first and the next person gets to 850.
There we go. That's
Yeah, I don't
still,
want to take 9 years.
huh? If you can
It shouldn't
do
take
it,
9 years to get to 850. It shouldn't take 9 years to get to 850.
that's your net worth. But why I would not rush that 9 years? Because as long as I can get sole source contracts, why not stay in there the whole year?
Yeah, I heard many people like they do not want to get out of the 8A, and they other companies once they're out of 8A, they try to go look for 8A companies to try to get back in because it's a different world when you exit 8A trying to compete.
There's no competition. That's what we could show you. These contracts that the rest of the world can't see and they'll never have access to. That's where your value come in. But I don't want you to get in it until you've won some contracts to understand the game as a small business. Build those relationships. Understand what you're getting into. Everybody want to skip the process and just go to bidding. No, it's so much more than that. It's too much more. My veterans, this is the opportunities that you have. You also have the same opportunities to compete on sole source contracts as well. The rule of two. For this program, it's just currently gone to SBA as of this year. They're doing the certifications and they're telling me this week that they're only taking 2 weeks for you to get your certification in this program. This is the checklist that you can go to that website and it's going to provide you with the checklist to get into this program. I wanted to spend some time on these websites. Also, one thing I did put this in here additional. People tend to get confused with these certifications. Everybody go out and get all, they tell you, go get this certification, that certification. So we created this PowerPoint so that you can see who uses what certification. This is the corporate certifications, the MBEs, the WBEs, the VBEs. These are all the federal certifications. These are the state level certifications, and every local community may have their own certifications. I wanted to visit some of these websites so that you'll get a general idea. What we do through our program, this is Breezy, this is my $1 billion baby. Her and Stacy, they both met me when I was at SBA. And every real estate agent in Georgia was at at my workshops trying to go after this $200 million contract. Like, y'all not ready for it. But I'm proud of her. She won a $1 billion contract last year. The previous year, she won a $45 million contract from USDA. Whoever knew that USDA had all these properties, right? And then when you look at her capabilities, it's not pigeonholing herself into real estate. These are the areas that she's saying that she's offering the government as it relates to her business model. She's not pigeonholing herself into one space. This is my old boss. When you look at what she does, and she's probably at $700 million. We all spun off our own companies, and she and I started at the same time. But she's kept hers for all these years, and she's probably about 700 million in contracts. So when you look at her service areas, these are her core service areas or divisions. When you look at these, is this something that everyone does? Or you know someone that does this as it relates to her communications division? No? None of this relates to anybody?
Not directly to me.
What's your background?
I have information technology background and I have a healthcare background as well in appeals.
Okay. My real estate. Y'all do
Real
both?
estate. We do everything this on that list.
This is your list, right?
Mhm.
Everybody's gonna have an IT department because if you don't, IT's not going away. So you're gonna find somebody with IT. This is her. They do government, do social media, content management. If I could get all those people offline that do all that, those bloggers, get them into this game. This is the silly money, I call it. Training. Every agency is going to need the same. So you fit in every area. This young man, he's getting ready to graduate. He's probably won about 90 million. He was in my portfolio. You can see here, he got health care. And I know we're getting close to the time. If y'all need to hop off, I understand as well. But you can see here, these are he's not a doctor. He's just farming out these positions. I'm just showing you this so that you can get a general idea that you don't have to pigeonhole yourself in any specific industry. Does this make sense to everybody?
Ms.
Yeah.
Paul, I got a question.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, since we all probably don't fall under one particular NAICS code, what would you recommend the code to be that we use when we are going after different contracts and not
They're going
pigeonhole
to tell you the code, but you're going to have those codes once you create your business model. You're going to have one primary code and you can have 20 to 30 secondary codes. But in this space, a lot of the contracts come under that, where I showed you all on that chart, where the dollars were falling. But a lot of this is the 541611 industry code, because that's a catch-all code. Does that make sense?
Yes. 511.
Okay. This is a database that I like. I don't like SAM. SAM, you get a lot of junk. It's fbodaily.com. If you go here, you can search it by your state and you can see what opportunities are out. But when I go here, I like this better because this is broken down by year and then by month. This is a commercial database, but it still links to sam.gov. So I like to look at this as my shopping list. What is the government buying today? And it's going to show you the number of solicitations that are out, and it's broken down by alphabet, by industry. So every day I can go in and see what solicitation does the government have in my industry. Sources sought notice is the government's first stage of procurement. It's their market research to determine what businesses are out there. So part of the program, we teach you how to respond to these notices. That's part of your deliverable in the second module, because this is how you get in front of it. And then you drive the contract based on the number of small businesses that respond to these notices. So as you can see here, it's alphabet. And what I'm getting you to do through the program is mirror the government's language. This is showing you the number of solicitations that are out. And so when I look at this database, I look at all types of things. Group exercise instructors, come on. Those are the buys that are for, that are set aside for a small business. In Ohio, what would I do, somebody? Hello? Huh? What would
We're still
Will you
here.
bid for it?
I can find me a gym or somebody near that military base and get me some instructors put my costs on it and keep it moving. Are y'all hearing me? Is the church hearing me this morning?
Yes, ma'am.
Huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yes.
And then here, this is the catch-all. That's why I would say you don't have to pigeonhole yourself, because we're helping you build a team based on who you know, with those skill sets. That's how you make your money. Look at here. Who would ever thought video game development? All these kids that are doing this, I go to schools. So you have to think outside of the box. This right here is what I also wanted to show you. This right here is where the government tracks all of your tax dollars. And that's what I look at contracts. Contracts are my tax dollars, but we don't look at taxes this way. So anytime the government awards a contract and or grant or do anything with the money, it's posted on this database. So it's telling you right now how much they've spent. And then it breaks it down by community. So it also tracks grant dollars, but I don't really deal with the grant dollars because it's the same money, but more accountability. And the game here in America is to keep your tax dollars. So I started in that first business, a nonprofit, because I had a contract processing grant applications, and I said, "Oh, this is how this game works." Because I knew when my for-profit business started making money, that I could dump it into the nonprofit, and I have a tax write-off. But I set up the nonprofit, so if I wanted to get grants, I could. I wanted to give you an example of this young lady who came through the program, and while she was in the program, these are some of the contracts that she was winning. This particular contract, the government needed a 3-day meeting space. I call this Ron and Done. She found a hotel. The hotel's cost was $48,000. She put her bid in at $104,000. She won. Why did she win? Let's go down here. Watch, this database tracks everything. Do y'all see this?
Wow. She was the only person that competed.
She was the only person that submitted an offer.
You would think hotels would be all over this and monitoring stuff like this.
You can see she got landscaping. She's in Georgia. This is in Miami. She got dry cleaning services. That was in Hawaii. She was picking up their laundry off the Navy ship and negotiated with a dry cleaning service to pick it up. This was one of her first ones where she was delivering porta potties in Texas for the National Guard. So this is why I'm trying to help you to see how you get out of your comfort area and understand your job is to find the people. So people always want to know, well, how do I really make money in this? Every time I bring up this, it hurts my feeling because I came in second place. I lost by $200,000. So this is how the government pays you. All of these individuals would be what they would call contingency hires. I'm going to hire all these positions based on what they had in the solicitation. And this is the hourly rate that I am paying each of those those individuals. It's a 5-year contract. I get to give them raises each year. The government understands it costs me money to hire these individuals. So they're going to reimburse me for my fringe benefits, The government's also going to reimburse me with my overhead, meaning this is where my salary came out of, the partner's salary came out of, and rent came out of. Here was pass through, money in and out. I had a subcontractor. This was another area where they were going to reimburse me general administrative expenses. That's where part of my salary came out, partner salary. I needed to hire a bookkeeper because I had so much reimbursement, and that's where her salary came out. So after it was all said and done and everything was paid for, this would have been my profit per year on this contract. Y'all quiet in there. So I get.
I'm listening. I
I'm
think
not
we're
quiet.
listening.
I'm not quiet. I was on mute. I was on mute.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure the church was still alive. So this is how we get into this game. And this is why I created this program, because it's bigger than all of us. For me, it's for our future. The program is broken down into 3 modules. Even if you're registered in SAM, have already got your LLCs and entities, everybody starts at the same place, because it's important for me that everyone understand what SBA is going to be looking for as you begin to apply into these programs. I've created these templates, and I want you to start looking at opportunities once that business model has changed and you're dressed up. Start submitting based on some of these templates I provided. In the second module, again, we're teaching you how to team. So I provided the templates that I had from the first business, from the non-disclosure agreements, the teaming agreements, subcontracting agreements, so that you'll know what you need when you start developing these relationships. And for me, the whole strategy is, because they keep switching up the game, is that I want to position you guys to have a mentor before you get into the program. They have what they call the All Small Mentor Protege program, that's under SBA. And that program allows a large business to come in and mentor you. You get to use their resources, their infrastructure, and their money to help build your business, with SBA overseeing it. And to me, that's the game changer. My mentor, as I say, got into the 8A program in 6 years, sold his business for $27 million. This is how we create generational wealth. I've also provided in this module the business plan that SBA will approve for the Mentor Protege program and the 8A program, because again, nobody knows what SBA is looking for. So that's why I created all these templates from the business and what I learned on at SBA. It is an 18-week training. You meet once a week. Everything is recorded. So if you miss a week, you can go back and listen to the recording. The price is $24.97. If you bring in an additional person, it's $1,000. So it'd be $34.97 for 2 people. My goal is to minimize, to make sure that we can make it affordable, but I'm also in business and I have to provide paid trainers as well. No refunds. We do allow you to go back and listen to the recordings for a year. So our goal is to help you to get your money back. The next module will start this Wednesday, April 10th, from 8 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. We have office hours on Tuesdays. I'm generally there, where I am there, from 6 to 7 p.m. That's when all the classes come together. And I may go in a little more deeper and back up the trainers. the lab sessions on Thursdays from 6 to 7 p.m. That's to help those who may have challenges with their homework assignments and navigating the websites. Mr. Lord, he's out of DC. He has managed $200 million contracts and dealt with acquisitions and mergers. My whole point in building my team is to bring people in that know more than you do. I can't get you to the $200 million level. I don't know anything about that. But his background is definitely across the board, and he's worked with a lot of agencies and a lot of 8A firms. I also offer a self-pace. That's 16 pre-recorded sessions. You don't get the access to the live instructors, but you'll have them in the office hours. And again, it's 3 modules, and these are the things that you will be getting. These are the sample deliverables that you will complete in that first module. I like to say we're dressing you up and helping you understand the language. And this is the team deliverables that you do in the second module, and then we go through an RFP. So I provide you with that sample cost proposal and the RFP. And that's my story. Does anyone have any question? Any questions?
Where do we pay? No, I'm joking. I already paid you.
Huh? Okay.
I said, where do we sign up? Where do we pay? But I'm joking. I already paid you. Ready to go.
So can I get some takeaways? Ashley, please introduce yourself and give me your takeaways. And where are you from? And how'd you hear about us?
Good morning, everyone. Ashley Jones here, Atlanta, Georgia, Springleaf Real Estate Advisors. I met you this past week at the Invest Atlanta Women Business Mixer. My biggest takeaway from the event, from this module, has been more so the broadening of my services. I'm hearing you very, very clear, too laserly focused, which as a small business and a startup, quasi-startup, you hear the opposite in the private sector. So This is very encouraging from your standpoint of being more broader focused. So thank you very much for that.
Very good. Thank you. Coach B, give me 30 seconds. What you take away?
Well, just like the young lady said, I got some clarity as well. I was under the same impression from the internet and YouTube University that I had to be laser focused. So I am seeing the benefits in just being broad in my focus. I do know I have to go back and make some changes. And again, I needed some help anyway. So this works for me.
Okay. Mr. King, I know you have to leave. What was your takeaway?
Like everyone else says as well, that we can do things that we don't pigeonhole ourselves into our own little industries, and really need to reevaluate my entire career over all the things I've done and reword my resume and capabilities. Because generally somebody asks me what I do, and I'm like, I'm a builder, I'm a developer, and a real estate broker. That's it. But really, there's so much more than that can really apply to so much in these government contracts. And I see it's available to do. Before, I didn't figure I would be available to do things because, hey, I'm not in that industry. I'm not in that town or state, so I can't do it. So now I know and ready to go.
It's $1 billion contracts out here. You're not going to be doing the work anyway. Mr. Zimmerman, what was your takeaway?
Thank you. Sorry, I had to unmute. I completely reiterate everything that Mr. King just said. And whereas I think that as a firm, we were looking at narrowing our focus, trying to get into one of those things and just keep a very, very narrow focus in federal, we have to completely revise it. We also have to restructure the firm in a way that, again, just makes this respond to my partner's future and not mine.
But you're going to still dress it up. I mean, you first have an overall, but as you market to particular agencies, you're gonna create a separate capability statement based on what that agency is buying.
That's right.
It's
Yeah.
your resume.
Yeah.
Let's think of it that way. Thank
Yeah.
you. Where are you from? And
Also,
how's it going?
also one thing I just wanted to add, sorry, it was the Enterprise Center, not the People's Emergency Center that turned us on to Victoria at the Enterprise Center in Philadelphia. Sorry about that.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Day, Miss Day, what was your takeaway? Miss Day?
I had to unmute. I thought you were asking for Mr. Day.
Oh, yeah, no, Miss Day, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay, I'm just kidding. I thought your presentation was very timely. It was very enlightening. And like what others have said so far is that it's really important to not put yourself in a box. And there's so many opportunities. You constantly hear it all the time, but it really gives you I think your program will give you a better insight, and also to help you. It's sometimes this is difficult. There's a lot of information that the government throws and all these different forms to fill out on what you need, what you don't need. And just having someone there to help you do it, and then you actually get yourself self-certified. That's huge. And so I'm very excited about your program, and we'll go from there. And thank you. And how I found out about you was through I saw it on Facebook this morning. I think it was through the marketplace, the ABC Marketplace. I'm a member of the Atlanta Black Chambers.
Okay, thank you. And again, we have to have a minimum of 15. Right now, I have 6 people who have signed up. So I need y'all to get into the game because we're getting ready to go in Christmas season. Thank you. Hazel, Miss Anita.
Yes, ma'am. I am here. And the presentation was very eye-opening, and it puts validity to the sky is the limit. Of 30 years of being with the government, this right here was like digging for gold and finding it. And now I have a wonderful tool in my toolbox that I can use, and it's a program where your net worth to yourself may be zero, but this program says your network is bigger than you and you can achieve it. And it's no longer, I'm an administrative assistant or I'm a system analyst. You become something to everybody with this program.
And you're going to use, y'all hear that? This is a resource. You got all those relationships on the inside. So they know you. So you're going to build from the relationships because relationships is key for any business. So thank you.
You're welcome.
And for your service. Dr. Irby.
Wow, this was awesome. I echo the sentiment of my classmates. I'm certainly inspired to broadening my scope of business as I need to, reflect on how I can, add different entities to the current work that I do. And as I'm broadening my scope of business, just understanding how to work and collaborate with others, and as well as navigate the complexities of the government procurement process, maximizing opportunities by broadening, my scope of work, and ensure compliance with regulations, and just learning from what you presented today. As you drop nuggets on making sure that your business model is set up properly so that you're able to be successful within this process. So I'm ready to roll.
Just follow the blueprint. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. That's what you're going to hear me consistently say. Don't reinvent, just look like everybody else and talk like everybody else. And I think, Ashley, that's the last one. You get to wrap it up for us. Ashley? I think she's having challenges with the mute. But with that being said, unless you have any other questions, we're going to conclude. Those that have already registered, I'll keep you posted with our numbers We may have to push it out another week, but I will definitely keep you posted and as we get signups, okay? All right, y'all have a wonderful weekend and hope to see you and hope you become a part of the GPI community. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Paula, for your time today. And because God is our lamp in our life, your path is full of gold. Amen.
Amen. I received that.
Okay.
Amen. Thank you, Paula.
And we'll send you a copy of this recording as well. All
Okay. Do you
right.
have contact information or do we hit on the link that you sent us for this one?
You can, I'm gonna type my number in the chat so you can call me directly. Okay? It's
Okay.
301.
Hold on. I don't see it.
All right. There you go.
All righty. I will be in contact with you. Okay.
All right.
Be
Thank you.
blessed.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.